Okay, this is a 10.1 formative quiz. So if you're using this at home right now and you're practicing these questions, your work and my work should be exactly the same. So I'm pretty sure that if you're going home today on December 1st and tonight you're at home and you're looking at these four questions again, you don't remember what the answers are and you don't remember what I did. So make sure you try and show your work as I did in class and see if you can replicate the results. So the first question says x plus 5 is equal to negative 3. Now if I solve that by inspection, I'd say what number do I add 5 to it to end up with negative 3? And you might, if you're bright enough, realize that that has to be negative 8. Or because negative 8 and a positive 5 make a negative 3. So you know from inspection that the answer is x equals negative 8 if you did that properly. But we don't have to solve it by inspection. We have to use opposite operation. So this is called what part of your equation? What do you call the plus or minus value added to the side of the variable? It's called the constant. And in order to get rid of the constant, we're applying opposite operations. So instead of adding 5, we're going to remove 5 from this side. And of course, the balance of equality, I have to do the same thing to the other side. So 1 point if the person you're correcting showed that they are subtracting 5 from both sides. That's worth a point. And then they would put a line through it to show that they know that those are opposite operations, and you're left with x equals negative 8. So that question is worth 2 points. 1 point for showing subtracting 5 from both sides, and 1 point for getting the answer of negative 3 and negative 5 make negative 8. In your second question, what is your constant in the second question? Cohen, what's your constant in the second question? And how do I get rid of a negative 7? I'm going to add 7 to both sides because it's the opposite operation. So 1 point if the person on that you're correcting had plus 7 to both sides. That's a zero pair. You're left with x left on that side all by itself. And what does a negative 4 and a positive 7 make together? A 3 or a positive 3. So your solution for the second question is 3 equals x or x equals 3. That's also worth 2 points. 1 point for the work, 1 point for the answer. Now here's where we get into a little bit of difficulty. Because this next question says a negative half of x is equal to negative 3. Well, in grade 7, we learned that if it's half of x equals positive 3, and I doubled that or multiplied it by 2, those were opposite operations of x equals 6. But in grade 8, the expectation is a negative coefficient, which is really a negative half. I'm going to multiply both sides by negative 2 to get rid of the divide by negative 2. So the first thing you need to see from both sides is multiplying both sides by negative 2, and x equals a positive 6. That would be worth 2 points from a formative standpoint. And your last question, what's your coefficient in the fourth question? What's your coefficient? Negative 5. And how do I get rid of a negative 5 coefficient? I do not. I divide both sides by negative 5. Because the opposite of multiplying by negative 5, which is what a coefficient does, the opposite of multiplying by negative 5 is dividing by negative 5. And we show it that way. Those are opposite operations. I'm left with x equals a positive 2. So that's worth 8 points in total, 2 points for each. 1 point for showing your work and 1 point for the correct answer.